Good evening, Wolfpack Nation, and welcome back to week one. I guess we should say it's going to be week one is now officially over, but it's going to be the second week of Wolfpack football this week. So we want to welcome you guys in. Once again, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Colby Pleasance, and obviously the great Hunter Smith is actually with us today. Thank you so much, guys, for recording with us tonight. Guys, it's Wednesday game week and it's Tennessee week. So, ultimately we can get this thing started and get it rolling. So, y'all know how we do. We're going to start off with our three keys, three key players, three keys to the game. And then we're going to do our score predictions at the very end. So, Colby, I'm going to let you lead us off again tonight. Get us in. What are your three keys for this week for the Wolfpack to get a victory down in Charlotte?
Well, Justin, I was so happy that we won the game. Wasn't really the outcome that I was anticipating, but hey, a win's a win. Um, to me, the keys for playing this Tennessee team is stop their offense. You stop their offense, they can't score really with the defense. I mean, they did score one touchdown. It was an interception for a touchdown against Chattanooga, but that's Chattanooga. Uh, I just stop their offense is number one key. I mean, you stop Nico, you stop all the wide receivers, the running backs, tight ends, you stop them. They can't score. And then I feel like the second key is really like stop them from getting pressure on your offensive line. Their defensive line will eat you up. I believe his name is Pierce.
Yep.
Yeah,
Pierce is different.
he's different. He's a first round draft pick. Stop him. If you stop him in the defensive line, I really like to take chances in this game if we can really not have their defensive line have pressure on us. I feel like that's a big key right there. And then my last key, which will tie into also the Western Carolina game, don't beat yourself. Let's
Yeah.
not come out. Let's not come out and be lazy and vanilla like we were with the Western Carolina game. I just want us to come out and really just hit them in the mouth. Like deep shot down the field. You know, just hit them in the mouth. First play, hit them in the mouth. It won't kill you. It's not a conference game. It doesn't hurt. You're not picked to win, so it's why not? Just don't beat yourself. So stop their offense. Don't let their D line get pressure on you, and don't beat yourself. And those are my three keys for this game.
Awesome. Awesome. So, I appreciate your insight on that too. So, Hunter, I'm gonna let you kind of, interject too. What do you think is going to be the key this week for NC State to get the win?
I think there's going to be a ton of attention from the defensive side of the ball from Tennessee on KC and for Justin Jolie. So I think our other receiving options are going to be the key for us this week. I'm calling Noah Rogers having that big night for us to be the difference. I really expect to see KC doubled some. I know we're going to try to get him in space, move him around, do all this stuff, but I really think there's going to be a lot of tension on those guys. I know their secondary is a little bit vulnerable. If you had to pick a weak position on that team, of course, I don't think there's a lot of weakness on that team with so many fours and fives. But that's my first key is getting the ball to some other people because I feel like it's just going to be so much attention. My second key is actually going to switch to our defense. Last week was kind of tricky because I know we held a lot of things back. It was tough losing our play caller, with that crazy hit call in the first half, but at least he's not suspended for the first part of this game. With that being said, I think we're going to have to get a lot of pressure on Nico, but the way we're going to have to do that is with secondary blitzes. I think we're going to have to press. I think we're going to have to be all over the line of scrimmage because I think he's going to take off like crazy if we sit back. So, Tony, it's always fun to see him dial up stuff on third down, so his backside cornerback blitzes, whatever it takes. Just lots of confusion and chaos at the line of scrimmage. So that's my second one. And my third one, I think it's going to be to protect Grayson to give him time to do his thing. Pretty simple right there.
Yeah, you guys pretty much the nails on the head. I mean, that's why we have you guys here on the show because you guys are giving great insight to the fans. So, when I looked at this game and I watched Tennessee last week too, obviously watching us too. But my very first key, and I told you guys a little bit offline, was to run the football. I mean, I think NC State's really been, they've struggled with that for the last few years, and then they also struggled with it for the first 3 quarters against Western Carolina too. So that was kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly from the Western game. But, I thought Jordan did get it going in the 4th quarter. I thought we got some really good touches for Hollywood too. And I thought Kendrick Raphael really looked strong, much stronger. He looked much tougher as a runner. And I think that's going to be my number one key for this week, was to establish the run and establish the running game early. And then my second one was going to be get yourself in a situation where you are getting the mismatches that you want. So setting up the play calls where we can get Jolie in space and get Casey in space. You may even have to run Casey a little bit this week. So my second key was get creative. Get creative with your play calling. Get your guys out in space and get the football out quickly, because I was watching some film from Tennessee this offseason, and their D-line is legit. They get to the quarterback fast. So our keys are going to be get the ball out and get creative. So, and then lastly, I'm turning to the defensive side of the football too. Ultimately, I'm looking forward for them to design some exotic blitzes. Get pressure on Nico was my third key. So he's definitely a different quarterback when he's under pressure. So I think we're going to have to do a great job of maintaining the edge. I think that's going to be the number one thing that I was looking for, is having our defensive ends set the edge and set it well, make sure he's bottled up and can only give you so many yards on the run, because typically NC State does not do well against running quarterbacks. So we kind of saw that a little bit last week when Cole got loose a few times and had a pretty big run. I think it was 50 yards on that for him, and they ultimately led to a touchdown drive on that too. So containing the quarterback was my third and final one. So I really think NC State's going to be able to win this football game if they can contain Nico. So, Hunter, I'm going to start you off now. Who do you think are going to be your 3 key NC State players in this game? Who are you on the lookout for?
Specific guys I'm on the lookout for. I've been picking groups kind of too.
You can pick groups too.
I think I said it earlier a little bit, but I really am feeling Noah Rogers or Terrell Anderson, somebody that's the second, third, fourth. I consider them third or fourth options right now based on what I just saw with the way, Casey and Jolie did. But I think somebody's going to show up in that receiving corps that you don't expect to, because I just think we're so talented. They hadn't had their chance yet, but I really think they're going to be open, man. I think that's what we got to do. I think it's going to be our style of football all year long. I think it's going to take fans a while to get used to it. But I think the way we're going to win this year is going to be scoring a lot more, I hope, and giving up a few more. So my 3 players, I'll go Noah. I'm actually going to do a wild card here, I think.
Okay.
Our secondary's got a couple of injuries going on, and that makes me a little nervous. Where do you go? I'm so sorry. My mind's going blank. Cooley. Oh my goodness, I'm so stupid. So Marcus, that's my guy from Nightdale High School, baby. So yeah, I'm calling him to have an important game.
Good deal.
Yeah, I'm trying to do some dark horses. Let me see if I can get another good one.
You kind of stole one of mine for a little bit.
No, and I'll be honest with you, I'm going to go just kind of a basic, easy one. I'm going to just go with Van too, man. We need him to play to match the intensity of that other guy that might be the number 1 pick. I forgot his name too. But they got a guy that's going top 10. He's got all kinds of awards, man. Preseason.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Von Miller a little bit. God, why's my name?
Yeah.
Pierce.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
That's my 3.
All right. Colby, who you got for this week?
So Hunter did stole one of mine. I'm gonna I am high on Noah Rogers in this game. I really feel like he is a big key, but I'm gonna switch it up. Wesley Grimes
There you go.
was a odd man out in last game, and to me, man, he just looks so good when he has nothing around. Like he's got nobody around. He's good in space. And I just feel like that's important for him to just, if he gets open, he's probably gone. Like, I mean, if there's not a DB in sight, he's gone. He's fast. I mean, I was very impressed with Wesley Grimes. So I really feel like Wesley Grimes is going to be a big difference maker because he's a wide receiver that, yeah, there's film on him from the last game, but he's a wild card. Like, I mean, you don't know. You really don't. I mean, he's probably the 4th wide receiver on the depth chart. So
it's kind of like that for both sides because both teams
Yeah.
are smaller schools. We really haven't seen, the continuity and what it's,
Exactly.
each team settle in yet. So this is kind of tricky this week.
Yeah, I mean, and so yeah, Wesley Grimes is definitely my number 1 guy. My second is also on the offense. It's the whole offensive line.
Yeah.
Right.
I need to see some maulers. I need to see some nastiness from the offensive line. I need to see these grown big boys push these other big boys down just so they can set up our running game, and then hopefully we can go out and win this game. To me, it's just like we need to establish our offensive line identity, and we need to push Tennessee around or try to push them around as much as possible. And
Absolutely.
then my next thing will probably be the defense is my next key, the whole defense. I'm not even going to pick a single player on the defense. I need the whole defense to lock in.
Sure.
You can't allow these deep shots. You can't allow Nico. I'm just going to call him Nico because I can't even I won't even attempt to pronounce his last name because I will butcher it. Life of a dyslexic kid. But the whole defense just needs to work. Our secondary needs to work. Our D-line needs to get pressure. Our linebackers need to communicate. We need to go out and punch them in the mouth on the defense. Like, I mean, we need to make sure that Nico is just incapacitated.
Well, he was 78% throwing the ball the other night. Last year, he was 61%. Yeah. That was what some of the Tennessee people were saying. They want to see his completion percentage improve. Like, we cannot let him get that comfortable. We only had 6 incompletions last week. Like, I know he's not going to do that with us, but, like, Jesus.
Yeah, like you don't need that. You really don't. Broken plays will kill you this game. I will say that. Like, stuff that you just completely whiff on will hurt you this game. So I really say my 3 keys are, Wesley Grimes, our whole offensive line, and our defense. We just need these keys to work out, and I feel like we win this game. But, man, my confidence is very low right now.
Watching that game last week was a little bit rough, right? So, you guys touched on a lot of the things that we've talked about a little bit earlier in the show, making sure we can win the line of scrimmage. And that was ultimately for me. My number 1 key again was running the football. So my number 1 key player, and it's going to be a little bit of a wild card, is going to be going back to Hollywood Smothers. I really think that he could be a wild card for this game. I mean, he had 2 carries for 25 yards last week, and he really showed me his burst, and that's what I really enjoyed watching him last week, really able to take those runs and bounce them outside and hit some holes that just really weren't there from our offensive line. I mean, our offensive line struggled, and I thought Hollywood kind of gave us that burst of energy because he was able to hit some things outside. And I think you're going to have to be able to get outside of Tennessee's defense. And I think that's the number 1 thing I was looking at is, they're so aggressive on the pass rush that it can hurt you as well. If we can start sneaking some guys out of the backfield and getting some of those guys in space, I really think that we can hit them pretty hard. So Hollywood was my number 1 that I wanted to shout out this week. I really think he gives our running backs a little bit different. The second one, again, for me was going to be, and it's the same guy that hurt Tennessee last year. It's the same guy that had a great game week 1. Justin Jolie is my mismatch key for the offense.
My dog.
He's different. He had the touchdown called back last week, which was tough to see, but he still ran a beautiful route, broke the tackle at the end of that to get in the end zone too. And I think he's just built different. His combination of size, speed, and catch ability is going to be super key for Grayson because I think he's going to be checking down a lot this week. And I think if you can get Justin Jolie mismatched on some of those linebackers, you're going to have a chance. So he was my number 2. And then my third is we normally do players, but I'm going to call out this week I want Tony Gibson to be my player of the week this week. I need to see some, design blitzes, some exoticness to it. I think he even said in his press conference this week that it's time to put up or shut up. So, and I know he is very excited about this game because this makes his mind just turn, 1,000%. He's dialing stuff up right now. He's sitting there watching film of Nico this week. So I really want to see, you called out the defense, and I'm kind of going that route too, but I just want to see some more, creativity from Tony, because we all know he's got it. It's in the bag. We just didn't show it last week. So let's get out there and get after him, boys.
Is Dave 2-8 when we play a ranked team and we're ranked also?
Thanks. I can check that though.
Yeah, I believe his
record, his record against ranked opponents isn't all that great to start with. So,
but one other thing, real quick, before I forget it about this week, I do like the fact that this is the second game instead of the first game of the season.
Me too.
Even though they had a chance to play a game and break the ice, I really think that's valuable for us. Not to mention, we had a couple extra days of preparation than they did.
Sure.
Yeah. Also, our game wasn't as like a cakewalk as theirs, so we're going to come in with a little bit more fire, I hope. And you're not going to just play how you play against Western. You're going to play against Tennessee, and you're going to play them with the type of ball that you want to play with.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, I really do think that this team has kind of shown over time that they do tend to play up against teams, especially on big games and big shows. So I think they will seize this moment for them. And I think it's going to be a really much tighter game than what people are giving us credit for. So
our last quarter, though, Justin, man, was amazing. And
beautiful.
Just over 500 yards of offense, and to be able to show that, like just be able to score that quick, I was getting excitement because I don't know that we've had those weapons before. Even though it looked ugly for 3 quarters, I'm like, man, what if we feed off of this and go into the next game like that,
Yeah, that was the wow for me. Watching Jordan just wear him down in that fourth quarter was beautiful. That's the type of, y'all know me a little bit. I'm a little bit more old school. I tend to follow the Dave Doran model, wear him down late. And I think we did a great job of that. I think we just wore them down to the point that they just didn't have any answers for it. So, it was a rough first 3 quarters. I mean, I think we can all agree on that, but I was impressed in that fourth quarter. I mean, like Hunter said, I think that fourth quarter shows everybody in NC State Nation and Wolfpack Nation what we're capable of. So I think that should give some really true excitement for us this week. So, and then lastly, we're going to finish up with Colby, I'm going to let you start with your 3 keys for Tennessee, or who do you think their key players are going to be this week?
So their key players, in my opinion, are, it's got to be Nico. Quarterback is usually the best pick, Mm-hmm. I really feel like if he is allowed to just sit back and relax, then he's going to have a field day against us. And he's going to pick us apart like Swiss cheese, It's going to be rough. I will say that. And then my second key, really limiting their explosiveness in the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
Just limit the wide receivers. And if we can't do that, then these guys are going to eat up on us. These wide receivers are just going to, do what they want. And my final key is Pierce.
Yeah.
If we do not limit Pierce, if this man has like 4 sacks or something like that, or 2 sacks, if he records a sack, we are done. I just got to say it that way. We are done if he records a sack. And that's really my keys for Tennessee.
Awesome. Hunter, who you got for this week?
I'm sorry, but it's got to be Nico too. I can't sit here and sugarcoat it. I'm going to go with Cooper Mays for them, though, an offensive lineman that's on the Remington watch list. That's a pretty good ball player. Like I said, I think one of the keys for us to win was to get that crazy pressure from all over the place. So I think their O-line perform as well. And then it's got to be Pierce. Top 5 pick. I hate to keep, it's just you can't sit here. Those are clearly the ones, Colby. I'm with you, man.
Yeah, he's easily the number 1 pick.
But you could argue their secondary. You could, if their secondary, the entire secondary could be a great thing to bring up too, because I really do think it's going to be a clearly whoever can score like crazy is going to be in good shape, and I do think both teams will give up some points.
I totally agree. So I went straight all offense this week just because I really think our defense is going to be ready, but it's hard not to notice when a team puts up 69 points. And, ultimately Dylan Sampson just was a massive factor for us. I think the key to NC State's success has always been stopping the run. And Sampson last week had 12 yards a carry and 3 touchdowns. So we can't have that this week if we want to win. So he was my number one. And obviously that goes along with shutting down the running game too. But the other thing that kind of scared me, y'all, Hunter probably remembers more than you, Colby, but the last time that we played Tennessee, it was, the Cordero Patterson show. And
Justin Hunter, right?
Hunter. And they got over they got over the top of us. So, and they got a receiver that's doing it again. He averaged 35 yards a reception last week. So Dante Thornton was another one of my dudes that I said we got to contain. So he had 3 catches for 105 yards and 2 tutties. So you got to be able to contain that guy. And then we've all talked about it, but Nico was the guy, was my third one. So his ability to run the football and break, contain, and like Colby said earlier, have some broken plays. I really think that's going to be the key for us, is containing Nico's ability to run. Force him to throw a little bit more and force him to read defenses, because he's still a true freshman. So, give him some exotic blitzes, give him some things to think about, and give him some reads that he may not be ready to make yet. So,
hey, Justin, one thing. Oh, I thought you were
good. No, you're good. Go ahead.
One thing that really concerns me too is, and I saw this earlier today, their top 3 receivers in that game, in their first game, were all 6. There was 6'5", 6'5", 6'3", 6'3" guys listed at 230. Whether that's exactly accurate or not, they're pretty massive, the wideouts that they go to.
Yeah. And here's another name that we all kind of maybe have heard from, a blast from the past, but even Nathan Leacock got in their game for him and got a catch. So, ultimately, I think that is their strength on offense, is clearly their ability to beat people over the top too. I mean, they got speed and they got size. So we've got to be able to rely on Aiden and rely on Brandon to really shut it down. And like Colby, like you said earlier, and we've talked about this, but handle that pressure and get some pressure on him. Those are the 2 things that we're looking for. We've got to be able to get pressure on him to force him to get the ball out quickly so that our linebackers can just flow and make the tackles. So I think you guys did a fantastic job tonight. I mean, I really appreciate y'all joining the show. We've got to that time where y'all are going to go on record. Let's go and see what y'all got for the predictions for this week. Colby, I'll start with you. Let's start with you.
I was going to let Hunter go first.
Okay, Hunter, go ahead, Hunter. You're new to the show, so go ahead and get it out.
Oh, my goodness. All right. No, that spread was 4.5 before the weekend. It's around 8 now, Tennessee.
I can see the gears grinding down there.
Give me us by 7. I think it's going to be a lot of points. I think we're going to be aggressive. 42-35 us. I think it's going to be a shootout. I'm going to call a crazy game. Shootout. 42-35 us.
Let's go. Colby, you up next.
So the homer in me wants to say it's 35-28 State. But in reality, I am very angry with this team right now until I'm proven otherwise. It's going to be 69-38 Tennessee. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But what I want and how I feel like it should be is 35-28 State.
What do you want to see the most from this game for NC State?
Just establish an identity on offense. Like I don't like give the ball to KC is cool and all, but I want an identity. Like utilize the wide receivers a little bit more, balance it. Just don't throw to one guy.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I feel like we need to figure out who's the starting running back too. Like, I mean, if Jordan Waters ain't the one, then go with Smothers. If he ain't the one, then go to Raphael. Like, I just want an identity on offense, and then with defense, please do not let them score 69 points. Like, I'm just saying that just to hark on the team, but like, do not score 69 points. Do not let them score 69 points. I want us to score 69 points, but like, do not let them score 69 points. That would be embarrassing on national television.
Absolutely. When I was looking at this game, I kind of harkened back to the LSU and Florida State game from last year a little bit, because I see a little bit of this team in Florida State last year. I mean, you've seen your leadership, but they had some unproven receivers up until week 2, week 3. And week 2 and week 3 was really when Florida State kind of got themselves going. And, they started out really fast against LSU. And I think that's going to be the key for us this week, is start fast against Tennessee. Amen. And I'm right there with you, Colby. I think it's going to be get some of those other guys involved. And so when I was looking at this game, and I'm obviously super analyzing everything, but I just went straight back to my heart and said 38-24 State. I think they get it done this week. I think both teams are going to score, but I think Tony Gibson's streak of continuing to keep teams under 30 is gonna hit again. And I think we're going to end up taking that game down in Charlotte, and I think it's going to be a statement game for us. So I think
don't let Tony hear that I just said he's going to give up 35. Maybe I need to switch it to 38.
When I first started thinking about it this week, I was like, I think it's going to be like a 38-31 type game. The over under, I think, was 60.5. So, I was kind of thinking, yeah, it's probably going to be more of an over type game. But then I started thinking, I was like, I think Tony's got something up his sleeve this week for a freshman quarterback. So
yeah. I
do think they score, but the way our defense is designed is just to kind of keep everything in front of us. So I think Tony's got a little, he really sounded fired up in his press conference. Like, he sounded like he was ready to roll. So
I hope he is.
I think they got something for them this week.
I really hope it is, because that would be like, your score to me would be a very convincing score for the outcome of this season, in my opinion. It just would put a little bit more of faith in me with this offense. I wouldn't necessarily like the fact that we scored 38 again, but hey, it's against Tennessee. It is what it is. Like, you're lucky to get 38. But I just, man, the Notre Dame game last year, you know how I felt. It just was the worst. And we gave up a lot of points in that game. So it's just, it is what it is, and it's gone now. But hopefully you're right.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a game that is going to propel us. And y'all know me, for the most part, like, I'm usually very conservative when it comes to picking and things like that, because I analyze too much. But I really do think this is going to be a night where NC State shows who they are, and I think it propels them to the season that they want us to have. Yeah. So I easily could see this being, I mean, like I said, Florida State really did a great job with Daniels last year. I mean, they still won that game by 2 touchdowns too. So, I mean, I really think this is a game that gets State in the right direction. They steer the ship right back towards the playoff again. And as much, negativity or criticism that we got last week, I think it's going to end up being the difference this week is going to hear the national media starting to talk about us more.
Yeah.
So,
I hope.
But as always, you guys are awesome. Hunterman, you did a great job tonight. I know you were out there thinking about it and all that stuff. Great job. Colby always finishes us off. But I'm going to let you give your final thought, too, before we get to our guy, and then we'll go from there. So just final thoughts from you.
No, I this is my whole season. I'm not going to change off of it. That's why I picked it like I did this week, too. I want to score 40 points every game. I don't want that to be an issue, even if we hold people. This is an offensive built team this year. Nothing against Tony. We're just a little bit younger there, and I'm standing on those guns. If we call plays and are aggressive like we can and we're not injured, State needs to score 40 every week, and it's going to be a formula for us to win 10-plus regular season.
Awesome. Well, you guys did a great job. Thank you guys so much for joining as well. We hope you guys enjoyed the game on Saturday. Once again, I'd like to thank all of our amazing sponsors down at the Point Lake Hartwell. We will be down there for the Clemson game. We're going to be down for Emilio's as well on Friday. But once again, Colby, lead us out, my guy.
Yeah, shout out to DJ Burns for this T-shirt. Shout out the boy. Let's go, DJ Burns. Hey, Pack by 90. Let's go, Pack.
Let's go, Pack, baby.